Our next video is going to start us on page Word 82 and 83, which is inserting page breaks. As you type text in a document, Word inserts an automatic page break, also called a soft page break, when you reach the bottom of a page. This allows you to continue typing on the next page. You can also force text onto the next page of a document by using the breaks command to insert a manual page break, and we usually call this a hard page break. So let's take a look now at the steps that's on page 82. And this tells us now on step 1, we're placing our insertion point before the headline Spotlight on Japan, and this is on page 2. So we're going to place our insertion point right over here. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to click on the Page Layout tab. If it's not already selected for you, click on the Page Layout tab. And then we're going to click on the Breaks button again. And the Breaks menu will open. You can also use this menu to insert page, column, and text wrapping breaks. On step 2, we're going to click on Page. And this is inserting what we call a hard page break. And this manual page break happens before the text Spotlight on Japan and moves all the text following the page break to the beginning of the next page. So if we scroll down a little bit, we can see there's the information there. Our insertion point is still there. The page break appears as a dotted line. So we go up here and we see that there is the dotted line page break on there. And that is in the print layout view when formatting marks are displayed. Page break marks are visible on the screen but do not print like other formatting marks. Of course, manual and automatic page breaks are always visible in the draft view. Step 3 tells us we're going to scroll down to pages 3 and 4. So here's our new pages 3 and 4 right here. And we're going to place the insertion point before the headline Language and Culture Immersion Antigua, Guatemala. So we're going to place our insertion point right down here. It's above this little picture right here. So it's the Language, Cultural Immersion. We place our insertion point right there before the L. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press your Control key plus the Enter key. And when you do that, that is the keyboard shortcut for a manual or a hard page break. And you notice that there's the page break, and that's using the Control Enter keyboard shortcut on there. And this forces the headline to the top of the 5th page now. So notice we're back up to 5 pages again. The next thing we're going to do is on step 4, we're going to place the insertion point before the headline Traveler's Corner on page 4. So right down here, it's the bigger area right here. And you see that it's Traveler's Corner. We're going to, at this point, press our Control and Enter, and we're going to make another page break that's on there. So notice that it shoves all this information below that page break down to the next page. Now we still have 5 pages, but it's used that information that was kind of spilled onto the 5th page to populate the rest of this page here. Now you can also double click a page break to select it if you had to. So if you made too many page breaks, you can double click a page break to select it, and then you can hit your delete key to delete it. On step 5, we're going to press our Control Home, and that's going to take us back up to the top of the document. And now we're going to click to the left of the page break on page 2, and that's this one right here. So we're just going to put our insertion point right before the page break. And we want to make sure that we select it here just by putting our insertion point before that, and we're going to press our delete key. And notice when we press our delete key on here, it deletes the page break. So when you put your insertion point, like down here, if you put your insertion point just right before that page break, that's selecting the page break. And a manual page break is now deleted, and the text from pages 2 and 3 now flows back up together on there. Of course, you can also click the left of a section or a column break to select it as well. The next step, what we're going to do is now step 6, and this is where, with our insertion point, still right up here, before the Spotlight on Japan, we're going to click on the Page Layout tab, and we're going to click back on Breaks, and this time we're going to click on the Next Page Break. Now when we do that, we see that the Next Page section break is inserted at the top of page 2, and the text following the break is forced to the top of page 3. Now, of course, to add line numberings in the margin to the left of each line on a page, in a section, or in a document, you need to click the Line Numbers button in the Page Setup group and then select an option. On step 7, we're going to place the insertion point in section 2 on page 1, which is going to be the body text here, so just somewhere underneath this section break here. And then you're going to save your document. So your document will still have 5 pages, and it should look roughly like this. Now there are a couple little things that we can take a look at as well on the bottom of page 82. And you'll notice the highlighted words down there is widow and orphan. And this is a way that you can control the flow of text between pages. Because we notice that on this page 2 here, we have just one little bitty line of text on there. And on this one, these are where we're getting into the terms of widow and orphan. Now, if you're trying to prevent a page from beginning with just the last line of a paragraph, which is in this case, this is what we call a widow. So we have all the other information here, but then this is the only thing on the next page. Of course, you also want to prevent a page from ending with only the first line of a new paragraph. That's what we call an orphan, so it's all by itself on the other page with there. And you can actually make some adjustments on these. If you look into the Home or Page Layout tab, you can click the Line and Page Breaks tab in the Paragraph dialog box, and you can choose some of these settings to prevent this from happening. That concludes this video dealing about inserting page breaks. You are now ready to move on to the next video entitled Formatting Columns.